Hello, hello, fellow Kyvians. How are you doing? Welcome to the July release video for Kyvio 1.0, and of course, as always, at the end, Kyvio 2.0 update as well. So, to not make this video too long, let's just dive right into it because we have a few cool stuff, and I want to show some improvements. But I'm actually even more excited about the release that we are going to do the first sprint, so the first 2 weeks of August. We have a really big surprise, which is really going to be very cool. We will announce that in the Facebook group and by email, etc., etc. But let's just go into the updates and improvements for July. I have to turn back on my internet for a sec because I actually want to show you something that has to do with losing your internet while working in Kyvio. So the first new feature that we have is, as it says here, about internet no worries anymore, is in our editor. So let's go there for a second. I'll probably be logged out. No, I'm not. That's great. And let's just take a demo over here. A test page. So imagine you are working in Kyvio page editor and maybe your internet's kind of sucky. It happens sometimes depending on what country you are. I mean, all it takes is just internet going down for 1 second or 2 seconds, and because of security issues, you will be logged out of the application because the application can see if that's 1 or 2 seconds or a lot more time. That's just a thing that's ingrained in the internet. You lose your session. That's what it's called technically. And if that happens, you're logged out. And then if you did a lot of changes on your page and you want to save before, that actually meant okay, you lose your work. There was a way around that, like by opening a new tab and then actually logging back in and then saving it again in the editor screen. But that wasn't very user friendly. And if you did that, if you weren't aware of it, it could still happen that you actually lose your work. So what we're going to do right now is, like, I'm here, I'm on a page, so let's just edit something. I can save, of course, just fine as always. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn off my internet connection. It's off now. As you can see, no more internet connection. And then I'm going to edit it again. Edit again. Oh yeah, I'm done. I'm going to save. Oh. That kind of sucks. I am gonna turn back on the internet. Give it a few moments. Yes, I think we're back. And it is saved. No problem at all. And I could even show another situation as well. Let me do that over, no, not this one. I want to show that later. Kyvio, just over here. All right, so again, situation, edit 3. That's fine. And then pretend that for some reason we get locked out. Maybe you went to the bathroom for a while or you had some other stuff to do. So I'm actually going to sign out here. Just, if you wait too long for like 2, 3, 4 hours, that will happen automatically. And then I'm going to save the changes. As you can see now, it actually shows you the login screen. So then I'm going to just log in back here. I have a lot of accounts. So this one, remember me, yes, I accept cookies. I think we should need to make a small improvement because maybe You probably already have this cookie, so we don't need to, but yeah, you have to accept both. Well, remember me not necessary, but I would recommend it anyway. And I'll log in. And then you can save again, or it should already be saved anyway, but just to be sure, you can save again as normal, and you won't lose any work. Awesome, right? It's kind of an obvious function. It's like when one of our marketers, he had very bad internet. He was in Argentina, I think. So he kept running into that problem, and I was like, why can't we do anything about it? It's like, yeah, it's a good question. Because we can, of course. It's one of those new features that you think like, why didn't we have that before? But now we do. So that's a really nice update. I hope you guys like that. All right, so let's go to the next one. Smart Mailer. So let's exit here and go to Smart Mailer over here, and then we'll go to List Manager, and then to Segments, and view your subscribers in that segment. And now what is new here is this button. You can actually export all your subscribers for this particular segment into a CSV file. Really cool. We created it because some users wanted it, and actually Neil wanted it himself as well. So that's a new feature. Then let's move over to the improvements. Inside of Smart Mailer, some spacing issues between elements and the UX is improved. I don't even remember where the change was exactly, so I can't really show you that, but yeah, it's just a small UX improvement. In general, in Active Campaign integration, so let's have a look there. Integrations, and then if you go to new integration, let's just select Active Campaign over here. Over here you need to enter an API URL. And it says very clearly here in bold, please do not include any protocols such as HTTP // or HTTPS. There were some users that still had that, and because of that, it actually created an error in another part of the application. Now we just added an extra check so that the system automatically removes those if you still add them. Just a small usability improvement. Then with Smart Mailer, we had, if I remember, 2 users who are having issues with people subscribing for their opt-in forms to their lists. They were getting 504 errors, like it's a timeout error, when somebody subscribed to their opt-in form, which is of course a bad thing. So we investigated, and it turned out they had some specific third-party integrations. I think one was a webinar platform and the other one I forgot what it was. But anyway, those integrations weren't set correctly. So basically it was trying to add that user to that integration, but because the integration details were wrong, it was timing out. It was taking too long of time. This happens either with bad integrations, which is obviously kind of on the user to make sure that's set correctly, but of course also on the system to make sure that is correct. So now we've added some notifications for that as well. Like for example, if you set them correct, because there's always a test when you set them right, but later on maybe you change the password or the API key in your integration, and then later the integration is wrong. That's kind of what happened with at least the first user that I'm aware of. And secondly, it happens that a third-party integration, their website or the API might be down. And of course, we don't want that to prevent your users from subscribing to your list. So we fixed that. So we changed the logic there so that it isn't dependent on that connection anymore at that moment, but it's processed in parallel in the background after the user actually subscribed. So that problem is 100% solved now as well. Then at the system-wide blacklist, so that's a blacklist that we maintain system-wide, so for whole Kyvian, for all users, to protect your reputation and your sender score, which is extremely important for your emailing. It's like, for example, but we changed it up a little bit. So for example, now hard bounces. Hard bounces means the email box does not even exist anymore. in the beginning, we only had like one hard bounce, and that list, that user is just, that email address is just blacklisted for everybody. Again, to protect, because hard bounces are really bad for your email reputation. But now we've changed that to the second time, just to be sure that there wasn't like some internet gremlins that caused that to happen. But if it happens twice, then it's pretty clear that email box is just not valid anymore, so we'll block it system-wide. Then the soft bounces. Soft bounce is when your email box is full, for example. That generally indicates that the person owning that email box doesn't really read their emails, so that should be a hint to begin with. But before we had, after the 5th time of a soft bounce for a particular email box, we would add it to our system-wide blacklist. We have changed this to the 20th time, so we've stretched the limits there quite a bit, just to give you more control. But yeah, I mean, if it hit an error, a soft bounce error 20 times, then you can be guaranteed that that user is really not interested in reading any of your emails in that particular email box. And then, of course, also, if a subscriber has reported any email sent from a Kyvio system, like Smart Mailer in general, as spam more than 5 times, instead of just unsubscribing, that person will also be added to the system-wide blacklist. All right, so that's that. Smart memberships. Yeah, so there was one user who tried to set the members area slug to the word login, but that word is already, what's the word in English? It's reserved, so that didn't work. So he contacted he or she, I forgot, contacted our support like, hey, it's not working. But yeah, the word login can't be used as a members area slug. It's not possible. It doesn't make too much sense to me either. But anyway, we added a check, so you can't do that anymore. Then smart memberships again. So we changed the overview of the products in the members area. It was just like in blocks, right? So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But meaning if one was higher than the other, it created an empty space basically on the next line, which is kind of ugly. So we changed up the system for display layouts to a masonry system, and that's what I wanted to show in this thing. What is a masonry? This is a masonry. So we have 3 different columns, and no matter the height of the product preview, like the image and a little bit of the text, whatever you put in there, it will always start fitting together like this. So that's what's done in the members area. Oh yeah, this is the bug fixes. Oh yeah, there was one more thing. Smart Mailer, if you created a opt-in form and you are using the LastPass browser plugin, like everybody in our company has, because we use LastPass for all the password management. It was actually adding a bunch of crappy HTML code to the form for subscribing, your opt-in form, which was really annoying. Honestly, that particular plugin has been annoying many times. It just inserts a whole bunch of crap all the time, and it's even bad code as well. But yeah, now we created a filter for that, so it doesn't mess around with that anymore. Just specifically for anybody else using LastPass, obviously. Then our bug fixes. The funnel guide was sometimes kind of acting weird. So what funnel guide? What I mean is over here, if you go to a new funnel. So what we have, like you choose a funnel, and of course you have your different pages, and then adding a page, and then setting it. It would jump up and down like at different even pages while you were adding a new page again. So obviously that wasn't meant to happen. So we fixed that. Webinar geo integration was missing a necessary field. The gradient style for buttons inside of the Smart Funnels page editor wasn't working properly. We fixed that. There was an issue with mass deleting subscribers in Smart Mailer. So that is over here, Smart Mailer, subscribers. So yeah, over here, with mass actions, this one, delete, didn't work, it didn't do anything basically. It works now. Save as template and save as HTML features were missing for specifically AppSumo users. Sorry about that, but we fixed that. Product purchase receipt emails in certain pretty rare situations were not coming from the actual product owner, but from the Kyvio system email. Obviously, that shouldn't have happened. Apologies for that. I think a handful of people were affected by that. We fixed that within, I think, it wasn't 24 hours, but just over. It was less than 36 hours anyway. Step 4 in product actions in smart memberships wasn't always working perfectly in certain situations, so we fixed that as well. And then last, selecting the color black for giving a text a color wasn't working. It was only the color black because that was the first color in the color palette. But yeah, that's fixed now as well. Alright, so that's all the bug fixes, improvements, and the 2 new features of Kyvio 1.0. Like I mentioned, in the next few days, well, actually we already released one smaller, sexy new feature that is coming up to be announced. It's already live. I'm not going to tell you just yet which one, sorry. But yeah, we are also releasing a big new change in Kyvio 1.0, which is kind of a step up to you getting more power, because it's really cool, but also getting used to how things will be in Kyvio 2.0. Like we've already said a few times, Kyvio 2.0 is not just an update to Kyvio 1.0. It's a complete new system built from scratch. From like every line of code has been redone, like literally. So yeah, updates on Kyvio 2.0. Our DevOps engineers have finally started with our staging area, which is a very big milestone. All our cron jobs are processes that run on regular intervals in the background, which are important for processing data. They have now all been implemented. That was quite a big deal as well. We have a final decision on the publishing strategy for all your pages, so your funnel pages, your sites, and your membership areas pages. And luckily we didn't, we predicted what was going to happen quite well, and we don't have to change a lot of code. This is a huge milestone for us. It's a little bit of a technical background, everything. But yeah, one of our biggest goals is creating a system that publishes pages that are extremely fast, and I mean extremely fast. So that was a huge part of that, and that final decision has been made now, and the last few changes I think were actually already implemented. I saw the tasks for that done, and now what's left is tying some stuff up together and test it, of course. A lot of testing. 50% of all the automated testing flows are implemented by now, which is very good as well. So our testing game is being elevated by 100 times as well to ensure the quality of code and making sure everything works, nothing breaks after adding new stuff, or making one fix something else breaks, that kind of stuff. Kyvio 1.0 we had testing, but most of it was manual testing. And now we are adding unit tests. Those are all implemented now, but also data integrity tests, API tests, front-end tests. We are all adding that to Kyvio 2.0, which is going to make it just so much better, and it's going to up the quality like 100 times at least. So that's really cool. I'm really excited about that. We switched to 100% Redis catching. Again, a little bit technical. Before we were using a combination of Redis and Memcached, which are just softwares for catching. Catching is used for making everything faster, more efficient basically. And now we switch to one solution, which is more scalable and has a little bit more features and stuff like that. On the programmer side, we hired two, not one, but two new front-end developers to push the front-end forward because that's still quite a bit behind. So some parts is not completely implemented, too many smaller errors on our development area still while I look around. So that's why we hired two to get that done ASAP. And we are hiring one more QA engineer, a new tester, to help create all those automated tests and better quality control. I will probably be sending out an offer to a new tester because we had a whole bunch of applications today. So hopefully by next week he will be working in the team, making Kyvio 2.0 better and better and better. At this moment in time, my best guess, these are not promises, the most positive scenario would be from now 4 more weeks until we have Kyvio 2.0 running on production. That does not mean you're going to get access to it already. That means alpha testing. So our whole team all together trying out everything there is in Kyvio 2.0. That would mean it. In the worst case scenario, I would say it's going to take another 8 more weeks. So best case scenario, 4 more weeks. Worst case scenario, 8 more weeks. That's where I'm at right now with the planning for Kyvio 2.0 to get it working and usable on production. That still means, first some internal testing, then we start inviting beta users, and that will still take some time, and only after that we will do a true public launch with that. All right, that's it for July. Be excited for what's coming in the next 2 weeks. We will already announce it as soon as it's released. We will send emails. We will post it probably on the blog as well, and definitely in the Facebook group as well. If you're not there, join us on Facebook, Kyvio School for Gifted Entrepreneurs. All right, thank you so much for your attention, and until next time.